Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cancer, this is for you. I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your key to the week this week is the World card. The feeling that I get from this is it's not actually about advancement or career stuff this week. This is actually about your community, and not necessarily like the community of the people that you live, with or around, which, in itself could be wonderful. I actually feel like this is your people. It's like people are rallying around you this week to support you in one of your endeavors, whether this is that you're facing a challenge or a hardship of some kind, whether this is that you are finally opening up and sort of speaking up and saying what you need rather than expecting everybody to intuit it like you do. Hey, listen, Cancer moon, so but what this really feels like to me is like your people, your community, the people that are your peers, the people that are in a similar position or a similar maybe even a similar career. People are rallying around you to support you, and there really is a strong sense of community this week that is shaping up for you. What this also tells me is that something in your life path, maybe something that you've done for a very long time, maybe something that you've been pursuing for a very long time, this is the week where you come to realize this thing, this way of being, this understanding, this version of me has seen its final end. There is a completion this week. It's not an ending, it's a completion. And sometimes this is like a project, let's say. Once it's completed, it's either time to put it out there into the world or to put it on the shelf because it's done. It's gone through its entire cycle. So I really like this. If you're trying to get something over the line or you've got a deadline to meet also, this would be a really good week to think about outsourcing. All right, for those of you that are continued subbies, Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the Ace of Wands, right? So look at that, right? You're like literally, for a lot of you, you are initiating the next level of something. For some of you, this could be also a week where you decide to document your experience, whether this is through a book, whether it's through a blog. For some of you, this could be a time where you're really starting to think about what you want to immortalize on the page, whether this is, like I said, a book, whether it's a blog. Maybe you're deciding, I want to put out a video series about A, B, and C. This is about taking something out of the conceptual realm and putting it into practice or into actuality. What I also like about this for actions and options, there is a part of you this week that is very action orientated. Cancerians tend to be action orientated signs anyway, because you're a cardinal sign. So you are always driving forward with something, or seeking whatever the next thing might be. But I really feel like this is about you wanting to immortalize something, to make something real or tangible this week. For your communications and conversations, you have the Seven of Swords. So you got this with the World card. I'm going to be really honest with you. The Seven of Swords is one of my least favorite cards in the deck. If you've been with me long enough, you know that. You also know why, so I won't give you the usual spiel. What I will say though is whatever information you are gathering or gaining this week, there is a potential for it to be misconstrued or misrepresented, especially if you're going to be immortalizing something. My advice to you would be, if you're putting something down in a book or in a blog, etc., this is not the time to share it. All right. The reason I say this is because you might say, oh, you know what? I've decided to write a book on, I don't know, how to wear red socks. It's a ridiculous idea. Right? But you might be writing a book on that, and then someone goes off shooting their mouth like, oh yeah, do you know that they're saying that people that wear red socks are stupid and da-da-da-da. It's like something has the potential to really be hyped up, blown out of proportion, or, you know, completely bypass the message that you're actually striving for whatever this person has in mind. Just be mindful of how what you say to other people can be twisted this week. When it comes to your, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, especially because you've got the World card here, this week, whatever your ideas or opinions are about the subject matter, about the way that you're choosing to take your studies in some way, shape or form, this would be a week to be very, very cautious about who you're sharing what with. It just, unfortunately, it seems to be in the air, all right? When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, give yourself a moment this week to really think about who your allies actually are, because they will be the people that actually do rally around you and demonstrate themselves. Whereas, you know, some people could just show up because it seems like the thing to do at this moment in time. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, quite frankly, you have competition this week. And with the Ace of Wands in the mix, whatever journey you are on, whatever you are creating, whatever you are making is solid. But that Seven of Swords suggests the walls are at the walls. So this is a week where, you know, within reason, you're going to have to keep some of your cards close to your chest. For those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, if you're looking for work, whatever is promised to you professionally this week, the chances are they're not going to back it up, or it won't be seen through. So watch that. If someone says, oh yeah, you know, we can totally negotiate your salary, and then you get the contract and you read it and you're like, but what about what we agreed? Watch out for that this week. For those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, honestly, I would say formulate your ideas first, get them down on paper, and then start to share them with people so that you've got A, concrete evidence, and B, so that you don't allow whatever it is that you're trying to do to be swayed by somebody else's opinion. For your love and relations, you've got the Two of Wands. Okay, so this is nice, especially with the World card. Your partner or significant other could be interacting with movers and shakers. There's something really great going on with your partner's finances or resources. Maybe an idea that you have for a blog or a book or something that you're wanting to immortalize. Your partner has the hookup. Your partner has the right connections in order to make that thing a go, and also to amplify your voice in some way, shape or form. So I actually really like that. It looks like a lot of you are sharing your ideas with a significant other this week. With the Seven of Swords though, this might be one of those weeks, and I'm sure your partners aren't, but this might be one of those weeks where you have to say to your significant other, this isn't open for public discussion just yet. All right, so whatever it is that you're working on, you're keeping it you know, relatively closed circle. For those of you that are single, through your communities, through your networks, you could be meeting somebody, but because you've got the Seven of Swords here, I will say that this person is either not as single as they look, or maybe they've just come out of something, or maybe what's a really polite way to say this? This person might have been a bit of a serial dater, and you know, if they've got a lot of exes in the area that you live, at some point that's going to get a little uncomfortable. That doesn't mean that you can't, you know, date them. It just means you have to be prepared that at some point you may hear something from somebody that's either disgruntled. And it's not always because that person's done anything wrong. It might just be because they didn't want to be dumped. You know, again, use your own discernment, but that's what I will say there. For your money and materials, you've got the Knight of Cups. So you've got this underneath the Seven of Swords, all right? I'm just going to call it straight up. Be mindful of the offers that are made this week. Check them out, vet them, double check them. This is not a week to take something at face value, especially if it's got an element of money, finances and resources attached to it. Going back to what I said about contracts and stuff, you know, being promised one thing and then actually given something else. Be mindful that somebody doesn't promise the earth and deliver a rock this week. For your physical health and vitality, the Knight of Cups, especially with the World card, I like this for a lot of you either really getting back on the wagon with a diet, Maybe for some of you, this is a week where you decide to stop drinking. Maybe for some of you, this is a week where you decide to get a lot more active. I'd probably want to see the Knight of Wands here, but the Knight of Cups will do, especially because you've got that Ace of Wands in the actions. It's like whatever you're embarking on this week, it's a go. But because you've got this Seven of Swords, I wouldn't tell people that you're going on a diet. I wouldn't tell people that you're back on the wagon. I wouldn't, like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're starting or restarting, don't talk about it. For your cross purposes is the reason. I hear some of you like, well, why? Cross purposes. Sometimes when we start something and we start doing something, we get people that will, oh, well, what if it doesn't work? Oh yeah, but you tried that last time. You know, like dream killers. They're the sort of people that I got no time for. For those of you that are, why? I'll tell you why. I heard someone say, well, why? And the reason why is I don't care if somebody tries something 1 time or 100 times. I care about people that continuously get up and keep striving or keep trying to do something. That demonstrates staying power, and it demonstrates guts. All right. I haven't got time for people that put that kind of stuff down. For those of you, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, I talked about that. When it comes to your home and your environment, beware of people that invite themselves over this week. And that is as much as I will say on that front, because otherwise I'll go on a whole tirade. But yeah, just be mindful of that. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.